Hey folks, Hamish here from Long and Winding. Today I'm going to tell you why I ditched my GoPro Hero 9 even though it helped me make better videos. If you're new to the channel, Long and Winding is all about bringing tales from the trails here in Victoria, Australia. I do lots of gravity riding, jumps, trail riding, all that kind of stuff. So if that sounds cool to you, then hit subscribe. I'd love to have you on board. Like I said, today I'm going to talk about my experience with the GoPro Hero 9 and why it made me a better filmmaker, and then also why I sold it. And then finally, I'm going to show you what I believe to be the ultimate mountain bike POV footage setup. Okay, so how did the Hero 9 make me a better filmmaker? Sometimes when you get a new bit of kit, it can really inspire a bunch of creativity. You take it out for the day, you explore its capabilities, its limitations, all its settings, and sometimes through the process of doing that, it can spark new ideas and shed light on fresh ways to approach existing ideas. So this is the first action camera I've had that's been able to shoot at 240 frames per second. And as I was playing around with it, I thought no one really shoots POV footage in super slow-mo. So I had a go and I realized, hey, this actually really works for jumping. If I get really close to someone in front of me, it looks great. I really love the shots I got out of the Hero 9 that day. They're some of my favorite shots of the last few months. So I continued to explore the idea of super slow-mo and we took the camera out to Case of Spades and did some trail riding. We strapped it to Juan's back and I rode really close behind Juan, and again we got some really awesome shots. Sure, the shots are a little grainy, but for me this is something that brought a fresh perspective to my existing technique. So yeah, even though I've sold my GoPro Hero 9 because it actually doesn't suit my knees, and I'm about to talk about that, it did enable me to become a better visual storyteller. And for that reason, I'm glad I bought the GoPro Hero 9. Here is why you may not want to buy the GoPro Hero 9. So one of the big features of the GoPro Hero 9 is the 5K footage. But you can't use 5K with Super View with the GoPro out of the box. Super View gives you a super wide field of view, and it's the angle that I use for 99% of my GoPro footage. So to use Super View with 5K, you need the Max Lens mod, which is another like $70 odd Australian. You also can't use horizon leveling at 4 or 5K. Then there's the Hyper Smooth. So when comparing the Hero 9 and the 4 footage side by side, I saw that the Hero 9 footage with Hyper Smooth 3.0 was a lot more blurry than the stock standard Hero 4 footage. To compensate for this, I think GoPro apply quite a lot of sharpening to the image, which to me is a really unappealing effect. That digital sharpening is just kind of gross. It just does not look good. So that was a little bit of an eye-opener. Maybe it's something that isn't necessarily visible on YouTube, but for me, knowing that that footage is so blurry or it's been sharpened by GoPro is just not really what I want. Then there's the color. So GoPro offers 2 color profiles with the camera. You can either go with GoPro color or you can go with flat color. On the Hero 4, flat color is really flat. It's really desaturated and low contrast, giving you loads of options in the editing suite. But with the 9, the colors are already really quite saturated and contrasty, leaving you really not much to work with when it comes time to editing and color correction. Then there's the audio. So the audio on the Hero 4 is a lot better because the camera wasn't designed to be waterproof. As soon as you make a camera waterproof, it really makes it difficult to get great audio out of the mics. Classic off camber. Yeah. Gorgeous. Sure, the audio's got better from the 6, 7, 8 and now the 9, but still it is nowhere near as good as the 4. But all of these issues pale in comparison to the issues I had with the stabilization. In short, the stabilization for me with the Hero 9 is just not as good as a gimbal. I know GoPro claim that you don't need a gimbal, which they also did with the Hero 8, but it literally took me about 1 minute to discover that yes, I do still need a gimbal. Take a look at this footage with the Hero 9 over some jumps. And then here's the same line with the Hero 4 and a gimbal. I really want to bring the best possible footage I can to you folks, and to me, 10 or 15 minutes of this style of footage is going to be nauseating and borderline unwatchable. I didn't actually do heaps more testing with the Hero 9 because I saw this once I got the footage home in Final Cut and I was just like, nah. So usually I do a lot more trail riding, and maybe it will be a lot better in those situations. I've seen some pretty good tests out there in the wild on YouTube. But for me, just seeing this clip of doing this jump line with the gimbal versus the 9, it was just so clear to me that the 9 is not ready to be my sole GoPro. So if the 9 is not going to be my primary POV action camera, then it's just kind of sitting around, and that's a lot of money just sitting around in the cupboard waiting to be used on like rare occasions when I need it. So it's for that reason that I sold my Hero 9, and I also needed the money to replace the drone that I crashed into the river accidentally. It was an accident, but it hit some trees and it just kind of fell down into the river, and I finally got a replacement thanks to selling my Hero 9. But yeah, that is why I sold the Hero 9. So was it a mistake buying the Hero 9? That's kind of debatable. In the end, the exercise cost me about 70 bucks, but I did realize that no, the 9 is not for me. And I also got a new creative storytelling technique out of it. So, you know, I'm not too fussed. All right, here's my recipe for creating awesome POV GoPro footage. Okay, so this is my GoPro setup. This is the GoPro Karma Grip gimbal with the extension lead add-on accessory thing. But this gimbal is awesome value, and it's really well made, and it's, to me, the smoothest gimbal I've ever used. I have the Fajitec WG2 wearable gimbal, and the stabilization on that is really good, but it's just not quite as smooth as the GoPro Karma Grip. These are really heavily discounted at the moment on the GoPro website, so you can pick yourself up a bargain. GoPro are all about no more gimbals, so they want to get rid of their gimbal stock, I guess. For the eagle eyes amongst you, you'll notice that I don't actually have the Hero 4 in here, I have the Hero 7. This is actually Juan's Hero 7, and the only reason I've got it in here is for the 240 frames per second slow-mo. This is my regular go-to action camera, the Hero 4 Black. Like I said, audio is far better on these cameras. They're not waterproof, which isn't ideal, but I bought the second hand off eBay for like 200 Australian, and it's literally shot every video on my channel. I've got a little Polar Pro lens filter on there. That's just pretty much a UV filter to cut out glare. With the 4, you do need a special harness, which is another accessory from GoPro, so just be mindful of that. And then back to the gimbal. With the battery on the gimbal, so this is the battery pack. The battery lasts about an hour and a half, which is not ideal, and one of the drawbacks to this setup is that I wear this in a hip pack, and I'll show you how I've got that set up in a little bit, but you do have to keep turning this on and off on longer rides if you want to save battery, which is a little bit clunky and awkward. But the battery does charge the GoPro, so you don't have to worry about gimbal and GoPro batteries, which is, yeah, just one less thing to worry about, which is cool. I also want to show you some of the horizon leveling stuff. So with the Hero 9, one of the big draw cards was that it has horizon leveling, and that's when as your camera tilts, as your body tilts, the camera's horizon stays level rather than rotating. That helps with the kind of nauseating feeling like you're on a roller coaster with non-stabilized footage. The thing that a gimbal can do is the vertical horizon leveling as well. So that's where the Hero 9 falls down. See how when I'm moving up and down, the camera angle is staying perfectly at 90 degrees? That doesn't happen with the Hero 9 because it's fixed to your chest. So that's why when I'm hitting these jumps here, I'm seeing the ground, then I'm seeing the sky, then I'm seeing the ground, then I'm seeing the sky. I do a lot of jumps, so I don't want that happening all the time. So this is why it's still worth having the gimbal. Vertical horizon leveling, I guess that's what it's called. I actually don't know. What else? Oh, another little thing is that I've got a little dead cat, a homemade dead cat on top of the case. Yeah, that just stops the wind noise coming through and works particularly well with the Hero 4, where I think it's just one mic on the top of the camera. So that dead cat there, which is actually just like a fake moustache that I've cut down and put a hole in and stuck in the right spot on the actual Karma Grip housing, the harness, to reduce that wind buffeting noise, which can really take over in terms of audio when you're riding on a trail. So the other really key ingredient of my setup is the Stuntman chest harness. So the regular GoPro chest harnesses just aren't quite as sturdy as this. And if you want to carry a gimbal and a camera, if you want the most stable footage, you need this really solid chest harness, which can carry both the gimbal and the camera. just to avoid it like shaking up and down on your chest. So then this is what I do. I put this harness on, which can tend to be a little bit of a pain in the butt. All right, so I also use this this hip pack. I got a Patagonia one, Patagucci. It's a little bit dirty, but seems to do the job. Then to fit this thing, I literally just screw it onto the chest harness, like so, just using like a really cheap mount I got off Amazon for like $3, and I got like 2 of them. And then I put the battery pack in the hip pack. Voila! This is how I roll behind the lens of long and winding. And that is my GoPro setup. Alright, well that is it for this video. Thanks everyone so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to hear what you, the community, thinks of all this. Do you see a big difference between the Hero 9 footage and the gimbal footage? Or am I just set in my ways and I can't let this gimbal go? I'd really love to know, so let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you soon for more tales from the trails.